This question is from the topic design of machine elements and from the subtopic brakes. This brakes topic is common for both engineering mechanics and DMA as well. But previous years the topic was included in machine design only, but now they have included the same topic in engineering mechanics also. So here the shoe drum is given of radius 260 mm is shown in figure. A force of 1 kilonewton is applied to the lever and the coefficient of friction is 0.4, mu is equal to 0.4, and the magnitude of the torque applied by the brake is dash. So here this is the pivot point about which the lever is undergoing rotation. So let us draw the free body diagram of the block, free body diagram for the drum and the shoe block as well. So at this point of contact there will be a normal reaction. At this point of contact there will be a normal reaction. So drum is rotating in clockwise sense, so friction force on the drum will be in anti-clockwise sense. So let me write this friction force as mu times of Rn. So the friction force will be mu times of Rn. Now free body diagram of the lever. So on the lever the active force, that is applied force, is 1 kilonewton, and at a distance of 500 mm there is another force Rn acting. There is another force Rn acting, and the friction force will be opposite to this mu Rn. It will be pointing towards the right hand side. It will be pointing towards right hand side, that is mu Rn. That is mu Rn. So here first of all we need to take the moments about the hinge point O, solve for Rn and mu Rn, solve for Rn and mu Rn. Then we can get the braking torque. Then we can get the braking torque here. So here the height of the radius of the drum is 260, and the location of the lever is 300 mm. So the shoe is width of the shoe will be equal to 310 minus 260, which is equal to 50 mm, which is equal to 50 mm. So the friction force will be acting at a distance of 50 mm from the hinge point. 50 mm from the hinge point. So let us take the moments about O. Let us take the moments about O. So moments about O is equal to 1 kilonewton. It is given 1 into distance, here it is 500 and 500. So that is 1 into 1 in clockwise sense, 1 into 1 minus Rn. It is acting at a distance of 500 mm. Rn is acting at a distance of 500 mm. Okay. And mu Rn is acting at a distance of 50 mm from the point of the hinge. So this is about O. Rn will be in anti-clockwise sense, and mu Rn also will be in anti-clockwise sense. Mu Rn will be also in anti-clockwise sense. So this is equal to Rn into 0.5, Rn into 0.5 minus mu Rn into 50 will be 0.05 equal to 0. Okay, so you can keep this in mm or in meters, that is your choice, right? And this will be equal to 1 is equal to, this will be 0.5, and mu is Rn is 0.5 plus mu is 0.05 into 0.4 plus Rn is equal to 0. So Rn here will be equal to this will be approximately 1 by 0.52 kilonewtons. So 1 by 0.52 is equal to 1.923 kilonewtons, and torque will be equal to mu times of Rn into radius. So mu is 0.4 into Rn is 1923 newtons, and radius of the drum is 260, or that is 0.260. So upon calculating this value, it is equal to, this will be approximately equal to 200 Newton meters. 200 Newton meters. So this is the end of the question. This question is from the topic design of machinery, machine design, and from the subtopic welded joints. From the subtopic welded joints. Okay, so here the cantilever beam of rectangular cross section is welded to the support by means of two fillet welds. These are two welds. A vertical load of 2 kilonewtons acts at the free end of the beam. Considering the allowable shear stress to be 60 Newton per mm square, the minimum size of the weld required is dash. So here this weld will be subjected to two kinds of stresses. One will be the direct shear. One will be the direct shear and another will be the bending stress. So we have to use here maximum shear stress theory in order to get the size of the weld. Okay, so first will be the direct shear. Direct shear, that is equal to tau is equal to load by area. Load by area, that is P is equal to 2000. P equal to 2000 divided by area. Here area will be, area of the weld will be equal to 2 times of L into H, where H is nothing but, or 2 times of L into T, where T is nothing but throat thickness. Throat thickness is given by 2H cos 45, 2H cos 45 into L, 2H cos 45 into L. So throat thickness is H times of cos 45, where H is the thickness of the plate, where H is the thickness of the plate. Okay, so here they are asking us to minimum size of the weld. Even H is also minimum size of the weld leg. Okay, H is also minimum size of the weld, right? So let us do this. So area here will be equal to 2 times of H into L. L is given as, L is equal to, this is L for 40 mm. L is 40 mm. So 2 times of 40 into H into cos 45 into cos 45. So this is equal to, this will be equal to 35.36 Newton per mm square divided by H, which is the height of the weld leg. Okay, next is the bending stress. That is sigma is equal to m by I into y. Bending moment here is equal to 2000 into 150. 2000 into 150. Bending moment will be equal to 2000 into 150 divided by I. Here I will be equal to, this can be treated like a rectangle. Okay, so the here we can write for this as that is L into, or L cube into H divided by 12, or H cos 45. Like that we have two welds. So into 2 we need to multiply. So we are using the same formula, that is BD cube by 12 for the rectangle. This is considering this as a small rectangle. Okay, considering this as a small rectangle, right? So this will be equal to 2 into L cube, that is L is the dimension perpendicular to this axis, so it has to be cubed. So into H cos 45 by 12. So there are 2, so multiplied with 2. So this will be 2 into L is 40 cube, 2 into 40 cube into throat thickness, that is H cos 45 divided by 12 into y. Y is equal to 40 by 2. Into y is equal to, distance from the axis is equal to, y is equal to 40 by 2 into 40 by 2. So this will be equal to 795.61 divided by H. 795.61 divided by H. So maximum shear stress, that is tau max, is given as 60, which is also equal to root over sigma by 2 whole square plus tau square. So 60 is equal to root over 795.61 by H whole square plus into 2 by 2H whole square, 35.36 by H whole square. So upon solving this, we'll get H equal to, that is minimum size of the weld will be equal to 6.66 mm. 6.66 mm. This is the end of the question. This question belongs to the topic machine design from the subtopic variable loading. So machine parts is in the form of a cantilever subjected to fluctuating load as shown in figure. Load varies from 800 to 1600 newtons. Modified endurance limit is 200, yield strength is 500, and ultimate strength is 600 megapascal. So the factor of safety of the beam using modified Goodman's criteria is dash. So here length is missing. This is 100 mm. Length is 100 mm, right? And now, so first let us calculate the maximum bending moment. So maximum bending moment, M maximum, is equal to 1600 into 100, that is equal to 16 into 10 power 4 or 16 is 16 into 10 power 4 or 16,000 Newton mm, and minimum bending moment is equal to 800 into 100, that is equal to 80,000 Newton mm. Right, so this will be the bending moment. Next, let us calculate maximum bending stress and minimum bending stress. So sigma maximum is equal to M maximum by I into Y. This M maximum is 16 or was 16,000 divided by I will be equal to VD cube by 12 or 12 into 120 cube, 20 cube by 12. So that is 12 into 20 cube divided by 12 into Y will be 20 by 2. Y will be equal to 20 by 2. So this is equal to maximum stress will be equal to, that is equal to 200 Newton per mm square. 200 Newton per mm square. That is maximum bending stress. Maximum bending stress. Similarly, minimum bending stress, sigma minimum is equal to, that is minimum is 80,000 divided by 12 into 20 cube divided by 12 into 20 by 2. So this minimum value of the bending stress will be equal to 100 Newton per mm square. Right, so this will be the value of minimum bending moment, and average sigma mean is equal to, that is 200 plus 100 by 2, that is 150 megapascal or Newton per mm square, and sigma amplitude, that is equal to 200 minus 100 by 2, that is 50 megapascal. That is 50 megapascal. Right, and now the first, in the modified Goodman's criteria, we have to draw the yield line and the Goodman's line, modified Goodman's line. So here we'll have two equations, that is sigma mean by sigma YT, or basically yield line means sigma maximum should be less than or equal to sigma YT. Sigma maximum should be less than or equal to sigma YT by factor of safety. Sigma YT by factor of safety. What is sigma maximum? Sigma maximum is sigma mean plus sigma amplitude. Sigma maximum, if I add these 200 and 100 will be cancelled. Okay, so the result will be 200. 200 is what? Maximum value, right? So sigma maximum can be written as Sigma maximum can be written as sigma mean plus sigma amplitude. Sigma mean plus sigma amplitude. So this will be sigma mean plus sigma amplitude divided by sigma yt divided by sigma yt equal to or less than equal to 1 by factor of safety. Right, so sigma mean we have it as 150 divided by yield strength is 500. Yield strength is 500 plus next is 50 divided by 500 is the yield strength equal to less than equal to 1 by factor of safety. So upon solving this, the factor of safety comes out to be as should be greater than or equal to 2.5. Should be greater than or equal to 2.5. So this is yield line. This is I have done for the yield line. So this is the yield line, that is sigma yt and sigma yt. Right, sigma yt and sigma yt. Next will be the modified Goodman's line. Next will be the modified Goodman's line. So which will be mapping between the endurance strength, sigma e and ultimate strength, that is sigma ut. Right, so this area will be the modified Goodman's line. This is Goodman's equation, and this will be yield line. So Goodman's line here, it is sigma mean by sigma ut plus sigma amplitude by sigma e is equal to 1 by factor of safety or less than equal to 1 by factor of safety. So sigma mean is 150 divided by ultimate strength is 600 plus 50 divided by endurance strength. We are having here it as 200. We are having that as 200. So 50 by 200 less than equal to 1 by factor of safety. So factor of safety for this case should be greater than or equal to 2. So now the factor of safety using modified Goodman's equation, you have to take minimum out of 2.5 and 2, which is 2. So minimum factor of safety has to be chosen here. So the correct answer is 2. Okay, so the correct answer is 2. So this is the end of the question. This question is from the topic machine design from the subtopic springs. So stress distribution on the cross section of the coil wire. It is coil wire, not cool wire, coil wire. Okay, and in the helical compression spring is shown in figure. The shear stress distribution represents dash. So basically the helical spring will be subjected to two kinds of stresses. Helical compression spring will be subjected to two kinds of stresses. One will be the direct stress, so distribution will be uniform, and there will be torsional shear. There will be a torsional stress. So combination of these two, what happens is that due to the addition of tau direct and tau due to that is torsion, so the location of the neutral axis will be shifted slightly away from the center. So this stress, this is tau T and this is tau D. So these two will be added here, and then the magnitude of the shear stress here, it will be large, and these two stresses are in opposite directions, so slightly reduction will be there, and just we need to join these two lines, because of which the center will be moved to some other location. Okay, some other location. So this will be the shear stress distribution for combined direct stress and twisting stress, that is direct shear and torsional shear. Right, so combined direct shear and torsional shear in the coil. So A is not the correct answer, direct stress only it is talking. C is not the correct answer, only torsional. And combined direct and torsional shear along with the effect of stress concentration inside the. So here we are going to talk about that is combined direct and shear only will be considered here. That is option B. Option B. This is the end of the question.